gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Shock. So, Game 2, Dignitas versus Alliance. Game 1 was a clean sweep by Alliance. There's no doubt about that. 11-2. And I can even remember the 2 kills because one was simply the bottom lane where Kazmich got caught out, hadn't quite got his ultimate.
And they got a double kill for it.
The second one was Froggen chasing.
Yeah.
After that, Kazmich pretty much ulted everyone that got killed. There were kills, but they were resurrected by Zilean.
Yeah, you could say that Alliance kind of exceeded the hype after all was said and done. 11 kills. Only 2 deaths, and then 30 assists is really big. That's a very large assist number for how many kills they had. So they roamed around very well. Good roam play from them. And Shook, you got to say, he had a great international debut. It was hard to tell if he carried them because everyone was doing so well, but 5 kills was actually the most of anyone on that team. He was in a lot of places at a lot of the right times, and things are looking up for Alliance right now.
Well, no deaths. That's not a bad start. 5-0-3. That's your first professional debut on the big stage. Technically, he's played for Wolves, of course, throughout the series this season. So they've actually been very clever in picking up a player that a lot of people perceive to be good to start with, has gained a ton of experience playing for Wolves throughout the amateur series for the last 6-7 months, and now comes into the big scene all prepared.
Yeah, he has been practicing for a while. It's just a matter of him finding the right situation and getting to be able to play in the LCS.
Yeah, and the spotlight taken away from Reckless, who's now in Fnatic, of course. We'll see how he does.
Shook was even kind of under the radar on that team, on Copenhagen Wolves.
Absolutely was. So, Picks and Bans about to get underway. Will they adapt? Of course they will. Zilean ban.
Get out of there, man. Also, Dignitas is the blue side right here. I wonder how that's going to affect the top lane matchups. Dignitas very aggressively banning out the things that Alliance used last game, but I'm not too sure how all that's going to work. It's not like Dignitas didn't get what they wanted. They're just more heavily denying Alliance.
One thing with the new team, though, is you can be stuck on one tactic. How have they developed multiple tactics with multiple champions? That's the question. Because a new team is all very good being all hyped up, but if they've only got one way of playing and someone figures it out, it's easy to counter.
Especially because Zilean is kind of Kazmich's thing. As a support, everyone's like, oh yeah, he's the guy who plays support Zilean. Almost like Tabe was the guy who played Annie back at the World Championships. Maybe we'll see Zilean proliferate throughout all of the world now, but we'll see. I'm not sure about that.
Well, Lustboy already played a fantastic Zilean the other day, 108. He went in the OGN Champions just a couple of days ago. But right now, we do see Shyvana once again, 4 Cruise of the Bruiser. So he had a choice of champions. Renekton's out there, went for Shyvana.
He lost, but not catastrophically. It was the game that kind of went down around them. I think Shyvana is still used for their strength, and they want to make sure Wicked doesn't get it. I think that's the one matchup that Dignitas is okay with having. But if Shook just decides to play Eve this time instead of Elise, that would be great as well. He's already known for being a fantastic Evelynn, and it would just bring a whole new dynamic to their Alliance team.
Shook switching between Elise or Evelynn, gone back to Elise, so sticking with what he knows. And Froggen, well, he's taking away Gragas from Skara.
But Kha'Zix has not been banned this game.
No.
So he could just go to Kha'Zix if he decides to. Kha'Zix isn't the greatest against Gragas. Just because Gragas is a little bit tankier than a lot of the other mid laners, and he doesn't necessarily get assassinated as easily. But it's not like Kha'Zix is a bad pick against Gragas. If Skara wants it, he can absolutely go that direction.
Well, Crumbs and Skara are making the choices. Will Crumbs go for a different jungler? Will Olaf be picked once again? It is available. It is a very strong jungler in 3.14 currently. Ziggs, though. Ziggs is a champion we were talking about off air. Will somebody start locking that in? We were wondering whether Froggen was going to go with it, but it's Skara that's gone that way.
Yeah, because all throughout Season 3, Froggen didn't really pick up the Kha'Zix or the Zed when they were the huge popular mid laners. And the question was, who out of these 2 classic mid laners who actually have fairly unique champion pools, both Skara and Froggen kind of stick to their own things, who are going to be the ones that pick up the new mid laners? And Skara's taking his try at
One
Ziggs.
thing we've actually discounted is the fact that that could be a jungle Gragas.
It could, but then it would have to be a top lane Elise.
It would.
And then we could see a Sion.
I can't see.
I feel like a Sion
I don't know whether
was mainly
Wicked's
just to be
adapted
like
to ever a top lane Elise. I don't think I've ever seen him playing that. But
no, it's not his type of champion.
Taric Jinx, that's a strong lane down the bottom.
But there's nothing that they are picking this for. They're basically just picking this to be different at this point, because they could still pick Lucian if they wanted to. They could do
Thresh,
Lucian Terror or Thresh or anyone.
Lucian's already taken.
But the extra wrinkle that this adds in right now is Taric takes it away from Kiwi Kid. Because even though he played Karma last game, the main things that Kiwi Kid plays in solo queue are Taric and Annie. seeing that there's a Taric now in Alliance limits the options.
I wonder if they're baited out that Eve, whether they're thinking, yeah, you want to play it? You want to play it? Well, yeah, damn right he does. That's going to be crumbs on Evelyn and Kiwi Kid once again on Karma.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this one's going to work out. Obviously, the Lucian was already picked for Dignitas, so they have a slightly different wrinkle on that lane. Messed up there. Didn't see Lucian sitting in the Dignitas side. But that's why they decided to go for Jinx. And I wonder what the top lane for Wicked's going to be. I think it's just Renekton again.
Yeah, we'll see whether it is going to be a Renekton once again. It worked so well against Cruiser, so why not? Just go with what worked. He was a good 20, 30 CS ahead for a good portion before the teamfight even kicked off. Olaf, we haven't seen too many Olaf's top lanes so far. Mundo's definitely obviously been that flavor up there, but he's been banned out. Nasus is another champion. Malphite is something we have heard about, and Wicked, well, he played it in Season 3, and he's continued to play it in Season 4.
Malphite is the throwback here for Wicked. He has always been the type of top lane player to pick the tanky champions that kind of sit around in lane and then make big plays in team fights. And he's really the only one that's still playing Malphite in the top lane. We've seen a little bit of Malphite experimented with in the mid lane.
Alex.
It's a lot of damage.
Blowing people up.
But I wonder if he's going to be thrown in that teleport as well to try and make some bigger impacts, since Alliance did so much roaming as a team in that last matchup as well.
Well, this is almost a protect the Jinx being set up here from Alliance.
It very well could be. Jinx is definitely a bigger hyper carry than Lucian, and it's one of the things you're able to pick against Lucian because she can lane fairly well against him, unlike a lot of people. So good choice by Alliance. Maybe Tabs will get a chance to do a bit of carrying here.
Well, we'll see how it works out. Of course, Alliance, well, they absolutely dominated Dignitas in Game 1. Can they do it in Game 2? Or have Dignitas managed to regroup? When you're put in that situation, what do you fall back on when you've just been absolutely smashed?
It's really hard when you're smashed that much. It's demoralizing for most teams. The thing that you have to think about trying to do, and it's kind of what Dignitas did at the start, is you get rid of as much of the last game as you possibly can. So there's no way they want to deal with Zilean.
Yeah.
There's no way they want to deal with Nidalee. They felt like those were the two most impactful things. Sure, a jungle Elise was strong, but you're used to seeing the jungle Elise. You don't see nearly as much support Zilean. So you try and just wipe the plate clean as best you can and go from scratch. It's strange to think that you shouldn't, like make adjustments from the last game, but when that many things go wrong, you're going to overwhelm yourself and just mess up your mind going into the next game.
Yeah, you just start panicking, cutting into panic mode. But we are about to get into the game, ladies and gentlemen. It is Game 2 of the Battle of the Atlantic. So far, Alliance, they've managed to get first blood and first match, but Dignitas are as the blue side right now, and Alliance as the red team. Have they managed to counter-pick them? Have they managed to pull something out? With Scar's Ziggs suddenly turn things around? Will Crumbs' Evelyn suddenly make some plays? Or will Cruiser manage to hold out against Wicked's Malphite? We will find out in a moment. But right now, I'm not expecting a great deal of invades because, well, up against the Taric, you don't want to walk into any bushes.
And in most games I've been watching lately, 2v1 lanes are kind of the norm for people. They seem like it's the safer choice, and people are very used to farming. But just based on how much success Tabs and Kazmich had in a 2v2 lane in the last match, I feel like Alliance is going to be going strongly for a 2v2 lane.
At the moment, Alliance are rotating around. We're wondering whether Kazmich just lingering around that mid lane. Looking like, though, with both AD carries are down that bottom south area. We're seeing Cutie Pie in the middle at the moment, so maybe they're just going to go for a completely different lane setup here, Dignitas. Maybe they're going to go for that 2v1 in the mid.
They could try and 2v1 a Gragas, but that would leave Scar in a side lane as Ziggs, and that just seems like an even worse idea than what the mid lane would be. So I think they're just messing around right here, trying to avoid invades.
Well, Kazmich manages to see Kiwi Kid, and Kiwi Kid quickly clears out that ward because Trinket Wars has already begun and managed to get that sweeper to take it down.
Battle of the Trinkets right here. You can see this time Kazmich went for the Ancient Coin instead of the huge ward opening. Look out, Wicked. That's a couple people.
Wicked's trying to take a peek in towards there, and he's actually going to continue and linger. He wants to be a pain in the backside, and he's putting a lot of damage down on Crumbs because the Crumbs was tanking the blue buff as well. So Wicked, well, he's not backing off just yet. Crumbs is trying to do what he can to help out. Cruiser the Bruiser is going to get this one down, but he's not done yet. Wicked is heading back in there. Now he's finally stepping away, but he has slowed down Crumbs there. He took a lot of health off him.
Wow, and the reason Wicked was able to do that is because he paid attention to what happened bottom lane. When Kazmich warded the triangle brush and saw it was taken away by Kiwi Kid, they knew that the people coming to aid that wouldn't be enough to kill off Wicked, so he was completely in his own right to be that harassing, and it paid off, I think, great.
Well, Crumbs is going to get that red buff. We see Shook doing exactly the same. Shook, whatever you'd like to call him. It is a red buff for him. So double buffs for both junglers, and both actually down the bottom half of the map. Let's see if they go for any engages. Remember, First Blood came last time. It was on Kiwi Kid.
And Tarek's stun early can be chained with the Jinx traps that she throws down, and could very easily be chained again by an Elise Cocoon if they decide to go for this. So it all only takes one stun, and they could get the kill. There is Eve, though. Here it comes.
Stun goes down, but it's already cleansed off. You can see Tabs is putting the damage down. Kiwi Kid the focus. Crumbs goes back in, though. Could they turn this one around? Crumbs has to back away. Cutie Pie's chasing. That's going to be First Blood, but Shoot trying to get away. He gets caught out by Kiwi Kid. Meanwhile, Cutie Pie's in all sorts of trouble. Tabs is going to get himself a double once again. Whoa. Now he's on towards Kiwi Kid. Kiwi trying to back away. And look at Frog, and Frog is heading his way down there already. He wants to get himself involved in this. It's a double buff up for grabs, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Froggen that gets it.
We thought that Alliance won the first game handily, but the start to the second game is even more impressive. They now have double buffs on their mid lane and their bottom lane. So even though Shook has his first death in the series, it is absolutely worth it because that 3v3 went bad real quickly for Dignitas. Crumbs actually opted in to that counter gank after he saw his team getting engaged on, and ends up getting all three of them killed.
Well, what disasters await for Dignitas after that start by Alliance. It is a 1,000 gold lead already, but that doesn't really matter because it's all about those kills. Pink ward being put down by Shook in that mid lane. River, and now he's actually heading north, so he's already looking to maybe make a play on Cruiser.
He may try because Wicked's not going to be as dominating early on in this lane with Malphite, especially since he hasn't built any mana itemization yet on Malphite. He's not able to harass Cruiser down that heavily. I think it's actually a good time now for Shook to just farm as much as possible. He did lose those double buffs and he needs to get a little bit of strength back while the rest of his lanes just do well with the double buffs they've acquired.
There's chompers being thrown out by Tabs, and Crumbs is making his way to the bottom lane, but he's going to step straight across. Actually, he's not a ward, so he's not been spotted. He is trying to go sneakily in there, but Kazmich immediately throwing that dazzle out on towards Cutie Pie. Tabs with that double buff, he's a target they really want to get.
I mean, Crumbs is hoping right now that Alliance tries to push their advantage a little bit too heavily, but the way that I'm a Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid are playing right here is giving it away. There's no reason that I'm a Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid would be up that far if they didn't have backup.
Well, Shook was reading this one like a book, and he's already making his way down there. The minion on the side, the wit or white, whatever you'd like to call it, has been taken down. The dazzle goes on to Cutie Pie. Here they come. Cruiser's coming. Crumbs is going to come around the side. I'm a Cutie Pie already taken very low from this one. The cocoon does not land. That should be the end of this attack.
Yeah, and they just had to wait until Shook was in range so that the 3v3 would push them back. Alliance knew they were stronger in a 3v3, and like I said, like, I'm a Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid can't give away ganks that obviously. They know they're down in the lane. The only reason they would be playing aggressive is if Crumbs was there. It's not worth it to have an invisible jungler champion if you're going to give everything away.
It's going to be Crumbs coming in. This time Tabs is in trouble. They're going to slow him down. This will be the first kill once again. It's Crumbs that picks it up for Dignitas. That was an interesting play because it was the mid lane where Shook had gone away to the mid.
Yeah, and that was a much better gank by Crumbs and the whole team that time because they weren't playing aggressively before the gank happened. That allowed them to turn the aggression around.
And there's the aggression going on to Crumbs. Crumbs trying to dash away from this one. Kazmich is coming close. He has got the dazzle if he can get close enough, but that was a good slow from Kiwi Kid.
Yeah, Kiwi Kid's karma is looking a little better this game. You can obviously see the early game strength coming down when he's able to land those Qs, but they're going to need a whole lot more from him after losing those 3 kills early.
Big minion wave. Tabs is making his way down here. Kazmich throws out the stun on towards Cutie Pie. Blows him back in there. The cleanse was used, but that's not going to be enough. He's going to get taken down. It's Shook that picks up the kill.
Yeah, and they might just continue on to Crumbs. Let's see if they can spike down.
They're going to try and get it towards Shook. Kiwi Kid picks up the kill, so that was Crumbs once again on Evelyn turning it back around. This is a much closer bottom lane skirmish.
Yeah, Dignitas has fought back in a couple of big ways right there. I feel like AmiCutiePie dashing in a little bit before that Gragas barrel at least trapped some of the Alliance guys in, but there's the teleport Malphite.
He's got unstoppable force available, and he catches Crumbs max range. He was leashed out by Kiwi Kid, and now Kiwi Kid's going to get those shards on him. He's slowed down. Kazmich gets close. He's going to have that dazzle available, but can't get close enough.
So that's the team impact that Wicked likes having with Malphite, but he burned absolutely all his summoner spells in that engagement just to get the one kill onto Crumbs, who was already struggling. So yes, it puts Crumbs back a little bit, but it enables Cruiser to farm a lot on Shyvana, and that is something he was not able to do in the last matchup.
And actually, Tabs farming between the lanes here on QtPie. QtPie having to get back into the lane. He's got a big minion wave. He's already missed out on one wave there, so it's, well, in terms of CS, it's swung back in his favor. Shook goes in towards that top lane onto Cruiser. Cruiser was farming quite happily Freely this time, but ironically, Wicked, despite teleporting down, is still ahead in farm.
Yeah, that's not a good sign early on, and I wonder what Wicked's building here on Malphite. You don't see a Sheen start very frequently from Malphite. A couple of reasons that could be is the Sheen is good for him because he uses so much mana in lane, and because Cruiser is a melee champion, he will be able to actually get Sheen procs off in between some of his spell rotations when Cruiser engages.
That was a cocoon landing. Scar is going to get the bomb down on towards him. The Ignite is running. One more little bit of damage, but Shook's going to get drawn into this one. He repels away, but he's got nowhere to go. Crumbs comes in. He can do a drive-by. Flashes in. Will he get the slowdown? The leash is on Frog, and Frog is in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get caught out. Crumbs will pick himself another, but it's Kiwi Kid that takes it.
And this actually draws this game right back to being close. The fact that every lane now has taken some little bit back for Dignitas. Scar getting the kill onto Shook. Crumbs getting some okay.
Easy for me to say, that's for sure, but the thing for me there is there's 3 kills Kiwi Kid's picked up that Crumbs was about to take. Evelyn getting those kills, it would be such a different game for him right now with those 4 kills.
Absolutely, D-Man, it would be an easier game for him with those 4 kills. Got to get my voice back a little bit. It's a crazy game. 5 kills to 6. Only 10 minutes in. Definitely a lot more action and a lot closer in many ways. I do feel like Alliance took some liberties with their composition and the over-aggression that they've been displaying here, and it's biting them a little bit.
Well, Wicked is back in that top lane, farming away. We'll see how that develops. Froggen is going to take his own blue buff this time away with that Gragas barrel. Not going to manage to get any steals through. Tabs keeping the pressure on the bottom lane, but despite the kills back and forth, AD carries, Tabs is winning out because he's the one that's got the kills. Kiwi Kid's been picking those kills up, not greedily, just simply securing the kills as it were. Look at these two at the top lane farming between each other, but again, it's the focus on the bottom.
Yeah, and unless Wicked uses that health crystal for something else, it could be a Trinity Force Malphite if he decides for it. That's strange, to say the least. You'd either see the all-AP or the all-tank Magic Pen Malphite. Trinity Force is definitely a new thing, but if he's confident enough, we'll have to wait and see if it works.
Evelyn was spotted out there, and Shook's already possibly coming down to see him. They may try and make their way past that red buff. You can see he's just lingering in that bush, ready and waiting for him to pass on by. Froggen also coming around as well. They have the timing on red buff because it was Shook that was around there last time around. Scar gets ready to get caught out by Froggen now. Uses that explosive pack, but just gets drawn straight big in by the explosive cast. And that belly just pinned him against the wall. And it was Shook this time that picked up the kill.
And that was really clever play by Froggen. He walked actually through a ward that Dignitas had placed and faked like he was going to gank the bottom lane. So Skara tried to walk safely through his own jungle to potentially support his bottom lane so he didn't get dove, and Froggen just cut him off with some really nice barrel placements.
And now Crumbs has got to be careful he doesn't get spotted out because he's actually between Froggen and Shook. And Shook once again is caught in with that cocoon. The damage coming in. Froggen's chasing in there. Crumbs is going to run towards his support. It's going to be Kiwi Kid just lingering off at the side. He's going to come in, try and slow things down, try and turn the fight around. Instead, Crumbs is going to get caught out. The dazzle comes in. It's Kazmich actually that gets the kill. Shook is going to survive with that Ignite running.
Slippery Shook right there, being able to just escape over that dragon wall. It was the bait and back there because Crumbs actually turned around because they thought they were going to be able to turn a kill. Gives another one back to Alliance.
So kills continue to flow right now. 12 minutes into this game, and well, 13 kills down. That's going to see any more. That's the question. Kiwi Kid locking onto towards Kazmich. Kazmich coming in, throwing the dazzle back. But this mid lane turret, once again, is going to be Froggen's to take. And he's letting the minions do it. So again, it's Froggen winning out in the mid.
Yeah, and he's actually got 2 levels on Skara as of now. Obviously, he had a little assistance from Shook, but a lot of this from Froggen has just been him out-pushing a Ziggs, which is no easy task.
Well, Shook just coming in towards that top. He's going to buy time for Wicked to back off. He's going to buy himself a couple of items, so we'll see how he builds this one out. And honestly, Shook actually up with levels on Cruiser. Cruiser's like, I don't really fancy taking on that spider right now.
Yeah, Shook has done a great job of keeping up in levels. He's been participating in a lot of kills, and here's a lot of people coming down bottom.
Teleport coming in. It is a Trinity Force being built up by Wicked. Not ready yet. Froggen joins the party. Unstoppable Force thrown out. That's going to blow Cutie Pie backwards and melt him where he stands. Super Mega Inferno shot coming out from Jabs. And that is a clean sweep once again for Alliance. They're going to take themselves a tower and any more kills if they can find them.
Oh, Wicked does have to flash out because he went a little bit too far tanking that turret. But overall, Alliance collapsed down with both of their solo laners. Dignitas had a false sense of security because they knew where the jungler was. So they assumed that the rest of the team wouldn't just be in the bottom lane, but they assumed wrong and it cost them.
So the Dragon will be going across to Alliance. First one of the game, keeping that gold ticking in their favor. 5,000 gold is almost the advantage now, and Froggen is making his way up towards the enemy blue buff where Crumbs is standing.
And this could be another steal attempt, but they are playing this a little cautious. There were some mistakes Alliance made in the early game here, going over aggressive at some key moments, which have kind of kept Dignitas in this game for a while. So now that Alliance has gotten that bit of an edge, they're playing a bit more conservatively.
So Trinity Force has been completed now by Wicked, so be interested to see how that's developed. He's not gone tanky, he's gone straight damage, no messing around, no Sunfire capes, no nothing for him. He's just gone immediately for that damage. Those teleports are working out for him. Every time he's come down, a kill has been created.
Well, Trinity Force is a great individual item when you complete it. So even though it's unconventional on Malphite, he's very strong right now. He'll get that on-hit damage right after he slows him. You can see that one Trinity Force proc hits pretty hard, surprisingly. It just doesn't scale that well unless he goes like full AD Malphite, because it doesn't scale with magic penetration or any of that stuff. It's going to be hard to deal with for now, though.
Cruiser is not having fun dealing with that, that's for sure. Absolutely bullied away from lane in that one. Shook once again in his favorite position, seemingly is going to find Cruiser, throws out the cocoon. This time it does not land. Kiwi Kid and Skara and Cutie Pie all around this red buff though, so it's highly contested. Shook's thinking about trying to get in and smite it, but that would be a suicidal approach.
Yeah, Shook does not need to be taking those extra risks because he did get set back a little bit in the early game by giving up those double buffs for the betterment of the team, and he's been able to recover since then, but there's no reason to give away his high level 9 at least right now, for just a chance of smite stealing.
One thing that Trinity Force does give Wicked, he's got some tremendous lane push right now. He's actually been down there, but look at it, Cruiser. Cruiser's gone up towards the tower.
Going?
And where are they going? Skara has to flash away from that one. All of Alliance now closing in around it. Skara desperately jumping away from this one, but he's left that mid lane completely exposed. There's not a great deal of push over coming in because there's no AD carry present. Unstoppable Force landing off through members of Dignitas, but they do turn this one back around. Froggen running through the mines, but the rest of the lane are pushing along the bottom. Alliance all gathered around the bottom of the map, but Dignitas are safe.
Froggen tunnel visioned right there. That was not a good ultimate to use because no one was in range of following up. It's going to hurt their ability to siege this turret because the threat of Alliance diving is much lower right now. They have to back away because Wicked used that ultimate preemptively.
So everybody's stepping slowly into the bush. They haven't gone just yet, leaving that barrel hanging out there, but Dignitas are all gathered. Alliance all gathered. There's no dragon available for a long time. Froggen is actually just going to back away towards that red. He's going to head off towards the top. They're just going to spread across and back away. So, time to take a moment and look across the items. See who's building what, bearing in mind that Alliance, of course, have that 5,000 gold advantage.
Yeah, it does appear like Tabs is going for his Bloodthirster Last Whisper build. That is his AD carry build. It means he's a bit more spell reliant than straight up auto attack reliant. It's just the way he plays AD carry. It combos pretty well with Taric stuns as well. Obviously, you look at Froggen. He's going for the same build he did on Nidalee. He'll rush the Rabadon's Death Cap and then maybe go for a little bit of magic penetration. But he's going to have to focus mainly I'm a Cutie Pie and a little bit of Scar because he's just going for low magic resist targets since he doesn't have magic penetration yet.
Oh, Wicked doing a great job of making sure that tower takes down as many minions as possible before it is dropped. And that will be the third outer turret of the game for Alliance. They're now closing in towards Kiwi Kid. There's Chompers getting thrown out, but not finding the target.
Yeah, that was a nice mantra Q right there from Kiwi Kid, right in the choke point to completely stop Alliance from chasing through.
Crumbs heading down south, seeing if he can catch in towards them. This three-man terror squad from Alliance has been causing a lot of problems. They're going to try and turn this one around here. They're actually all caught out in a bad place. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to close in. Kazmich has to get out of the way, but it's not far enough. And Skara gets himself the kill. Cutie Pie trying to focus on which target he can go for. He will manage to catch the culling, but not close enough. And that was a fail flash from Cutie Pie.
He was trying to keep...
No, he didn't. Who was it?
What are you talking about, man?
There was a flash in there.
Well, there's a couple kills.
I was flashed. I was dazzled by Cutie Pie's hair.
We could go run a replay maybe, and then we get to see it again. But I missed it. Anyway, Tabs actually just got the move speed from Jinx's passive to be able to escape that one. Otherwise, it would have been a really good turn from the rest of Dignitas. All said, though, it keeps things about where they were before the fight.
There was some damage put on towards that middle lane turret, and now we see Cruiser just off at the side. Wicked is above him. Wicked did use the teleport somewhere in that fight. I didn't see where he went into. I think he was going down to the bottom.
His teleport.
Cancelled it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll tell you who flashed in a second.
You tell me. You tell me. I swear. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. No.
Nobody flashed.
Nobody flashed.
There was a bright moment on the screen.
It was a bright
because
light.
Lucian has a lot of bright skills.
I've seen the light. That's what it is. I've seen the light, and it is Dignitas losing.
Maybe. Ooh. It's looking like it right now. They need to do a lot more to come back.
They do need to do a lot more, but Alliance, you know, have been a lot more shaky in this game. They're obviously dominant in game one, 11-2 if you missed it already, and honestly, that game was over in 25 minutes. But this time, we're already closing in on the 19-minute mark, and Alliance had already taken all of the outer turrets this time around. Skara has the Ignite put on him from Froggen, but Froggen flashing away this time around. Now he finds Cruiser though. Cruiser popping that ultimate. Froggen in all sorts of trouble. He's running away from this one. Mega Inferno Bomb thrown out. Was dodged out, but Froggen, he's still in trouble. He's not done yet. He will get taken down, but now we see Shook coming in. Shook trying to get on towards him, but he's on his own now. Dignitas are turning this around. Coming around the side, he's going to be Crumbs. Crumbs on towards Shook. Shook's trying to get away, but again, Kiwi Kid closing him out. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He's going to get caught down, slowed down, and dropped by Skara.
Dignitas is doing a really good job at chasing some people down, and the move speed that Kiwi Kid's Karma is granting a lot of his team is what they were hoping from that support Karma in the first game. It's just the game got away from them way too quickly, and they could never kind of get to that. And now, even though they're down 3 turrets, they're fighting a lot better inside their turrets, and maybe they can get something back. Instead, they're just going to try to pull for this dragon while Shook's smite is dead.
5-man group in Dignitas getting this dragon down. This could be their first one of the game as well. Don't forget, he managed to lose the first one to Alliance. Will they try and rotate? Will they try and take any towers from this one, or will they push on? Immediately, Tabs has responded, realizing he can't go that far down the lane, backing well away.
Yeah, you can definitely see Tabs is trying to farm as much as possible. He's got those 4 kills, but that's a whole squad that wants him dead.
Had to flash away from that one, though. That was a good ability. Kazmich having to try and come in and support him, but Kiwi Kid is making plays right now on Karma, but Alliance, they're trying to close in. They're coming towards Cutie Pie with the culling landing very nicely, but Kazmich still has that dazzle available. It's Cutie Pie he's focusing on. He is going to land it down, but the rest of the team not on the same page. It's going to be Kiwi Kid they're focused on instead. He's going to get caught down. Shook's trying to come and catch on towards him. It's going to be Cutie Pie they're focused on. That's going to be the flash away from it, and the bomb doesn't land, but Froggen still picks it up with the second barrel, and now Wicked, he's coming around Dignitas, his own base to catch on this one. Trinity Force is locked and loaded. Will he manage to go in with the catch? Yes, he will. Skara caught out, but there's not a lot of damage on him. Instead, the Mega Inferno Bomb using defensive mechanism. Froggen, can he land the barrel? No! Skara gets away.
Wicked getting a little creative with his gank paths. And that was actually just a really good turn and chase by Alliance. Dignitas overstepped their bounds, trying to get that kill in between the turrets. They hadn't even taken down the other turret when they tried to get Tabs. So the retreat was very long and very dangerous. This is really shaping up to be that protect the Jinx style game And that's why Tabs is focused so heavily on farming right now, because even if the rest of the game gets away from Alliance a little bit and they're struggling to close as decisively as they did in the first one, they still have that 5-kill Jinx who is keeping up with minion farm and will be a monster in the late game.
And Wicked use that teleport to get into that top to prevent Cruiser from pushing on the lane. And again, once again, you see Cruiser not really interested in that original fight. Wicked is trying to create something. Now he's in a 2v1 situation, 3v1 actually, because Skara's coming in. Wicked has to back the hell out of him, but Crumbs and Cruiser are trying to close in towards him. Mega Inferno Bomb is available any second now, and it's going to be Skara that will be throwing it out. Once he gets close enough, Wicked is running for his life. Not too sure anyone's going to close the gap. Crumbs has got that speed boost, but it's not going to happen. Wicked is safe.
It's that Trinity Force speed coming in with Wicked, as well as his Seismic Shard, which steals move speed from Shyvana. He used it on the fastest member of Dignitas, which let him get away a bit better. And I actually have to comment about his Trinity Force and why it's working so well against Cruiser Shyvana. Normally, if a Shyvana itemizes a Spirit Visage early against Malphite, since almost all of Malphite's spell damage is magical, it will stop Malphite from being able to do damage to him. But the Trinity Force proc is physical damage, and that's why Wicked is beating him down so quickly, because Cruiser hasn't itemized that, and that's hurting him.
Skara just jumping away with that rubber ducky away from Shook's Cocoon. Tabs and Kazmich trying to create some plays, but Alliance, I wouldn't say they've been sloppy, but they're definitely not as clean teamwork as there was in game one. They're definitely creating plays, but Dignitas are reading them this time around.
I think the first game being so one-sided kind of loosened Alliance up a little bit, and they're probably having a little bit more fun with this one, even though Wicked could make an argument about why coming in from the base was the best strategic play. I feel like it was shown off a little bit.
I think so.
And that's bleeding through to make Alliance seem a little more sloppy.
Well, both AP mids have actually built themselves up a lot of ability power. You see the Athene's Unholy Grail and the Rabadon's Death Cap on both mid laners. And I am seeing Froggen building up. Looks like the Void Staff's going to be following as well for him. Meanwhile, Ward's getting thrown down towards that blue buff. Skara's already picked that one up, and he's going to be able to get the reset and clear out that ward. Speaking of wards and trinkets, we see a lot of sweepers coming out from Alliance here.
And this is one of the first scrying orbs I've actually seen from Wicked. They went for the Greater Orb because it's been upgraded. Malphite wants that mini CV so he can land his ultimates in, and they're going in fast.
Well, they're not going to catch him. They did blow Skara away from there, though, and that's going to be 4 members of Alliance if they want to push in, but Tabs, so Cutie Pie is already in place to defend them away. But Alliance, like we were mentioning, this is the first time we've seen scrying. Well, in fact, this is the first time I think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, usually you'd think that just placing a ward in a spot would be more beneficial than getting that, but it's because Wicked in particular wants to be able to follow people if they go over walls just because he's Malphite. And the 3 sweeping lenses they've gotten so far, or greater lenses, is because they have so much map control right now, and they're looking of ways to really finish it. And if all of them can sweep out the wards collectively from Dignitas, they could maybe make something happen.
Cruiser coming around the backside. He might be in trouble here. Dazzle is available. He does get to use it. Wicked's tanking up this turret. The turret's going to go down. Cruiser has to run away from this one. And that is another turret picked up by Alliance. It's now 5-0 in turrets. They were 6-0 in game one. You said nobody comes back from that. But I feel Dignitas are not out of this yet.
Not yet. They need to get 1 turret back at least. Come on, 1 turret for the whole Battle of the Atlantic.
Oh, Crumbs, you are well out of position. Is he going to try and sneak around them? Alliance are just going to funnel in on towards this inhibitor turret. Dignitas are coming around the back of them.
Not coordinated right now, and this could be an ugly fight. Dignitas is trying to flank it around, but here comes Alliance.
Oh, the tower went down just at the time Crumbs comes in. He managed to get his ultimate in there nicely, but Cruiser's going to get singled out, but he's a tanky mob right now. They are going to force Alliance back from this one. The Culling's going to get used. That's massaging Wicked's back, but Alliance are not done yet.
It's a good way of describing what Cutie Pie was just doing. Nice physical imagery right there. Cutie Pie massaging Wicked's back as he runs away on Malphite. But that's what happened right there. Alliance took a little bit of harass while they finished the turret because they all sat in the Mega Inferno Bomb, and they just decided to disengage. Because the way that Dignitas came into that fight wasn't very good for fighting when all was said and done, and it was an easy disengage for Alliance.
Lots of minions being picked up by Wicked now. 238, highest on the board. Actually, I tell a lie. how can I question Froggen? Of course, 250 CS for him, of course, so he's much higher still. It is the Dragon available, and it's Dignitas that are looking to take this one. Remember, the money, the gold advantage is going to be quite high. You talked about it before. They're not at level 15 yet, so it's not quite at max, but it's definitely going to be a lot of gold on the line here.
And they really need it, too, because Dignitas is down 8,000 gold before this Dragon. You can see it actually jumped. That was a 1,200 gold Dragon they just picked up, which that's pretty much as good as 2 full kills, maybe 3, depending on who they get.
Well, we are seeing the wards coming out. Dignitas trying to ward up. They're aware that Baron is a possibility now for Alliance. Alliance are already using those sweeping lenses to make sure that those wards get cleared out pretty quickly. Another one goes down. They have full lock and load on these wards placements that Kiwi Kid just put down. Fortunately for him, they have all just been swept.
And there's a bit of a mind game that happens now in the 2014 season when they're trying to use all of these sweeping lenses to get rid of wards. You see wards in some really strange places sometimes so that the default spot to sweep wouldn't be taken. And Alliance is just doing their best to get all of the wards out of the jungle. They've done quite a good job so far getting them out, but you can see all their lenses are on cooldown right now, and Kazmich just can't quite see that ward with the pink they have in the Baron pit.
It's just on the edge of it. Meanwhile, we're seeing the golems actually being clept away. Wicked now pushing down the bottom lane. He's been used pretty much as the split pusher the entire time. That is what Wicked's been doing. He's got that teleport available if the fight would happen, but he's actually done a very good job at split pushing as well. Now he's completed that Spirit Visage. He's had that tankiness in him from the Warden's Mail for a long time as well, and the Trinity Force to just chunk those minions down and ground slamming, pretty much wiping them out in one sweep.
And the Trinity Force was actually a really smart purchase, as we mentioned earlier, because it allowed him to beat up Crumbs in the split pushing battle, and it gives them so much more freedom for making plays like this since he wins the lane and is free to teleport in whenever he wants.
That Baron is already down to half health and going down very quickly. Crumbs is close by though. He's going to get caught out. Oh, Cocoon lands in there. Dazzle as well. He's already dropped incredibly low and will get taken down. The Mega Inferno Bomb coming in from Skara. Is it going to be enough? Kazmich dropping low. The culling coming out but not really landing on anyone. Froggen throws out the barrel. Cruiser has to get away. Gets locked up. Tabs takes him down. Now Skara's going to run for his life. The teleport from Wicked was used to catch in there, and Skara is going to have a very hard job escaping from Wicked here. He's just going to get mowed down. One more shot should do it, and that is a 3-kill clean sweep for Alliance as they bait out the Baron.
Yeah, Malphite slapped Skara to death at the end of that one, and it was just Dignitas not quite being in position yet again. It didn't grant a Baron to Alliance, but it did grant them some very key kills.
Well, Cutie Pie fancies a kill here. Kiwi Kid, if he can catch the slow, and in Flash was forced to be used there. So that's a win, a tiny win of that, but it's a win nonetheless, and it's a 9,000 gold difference. Let's look at this replay.
Yeah, you can see that even though Crumbs landed a good ultimate and got a lot out of his shield, it was all for nothing because the team couldn't follow it up immediately. Obviously, Wicked went off to the side in the bottom. He actually just jumps on Skara, and no one on Dignitas participated in that fight, really. You could see Cruiser was all the way in. Wicked actually didn't even get his ultimate on Skara in order to kill him down. Let's see how many slaps he gets. That's at least 2. Would have been about 10 more, and then he finished him off.
Slapping him like crazy. Sweepers being used all over the map. Everybody clearing out those wards that did just get planted, and no one has a good, clean vision right now. There's a pink ward you can see from Alliance just in that bush that hasn't been swept yet. And you were talking about this yesterday. Those pink wards, while they are visibly able to be spotted, now they're starting to use these unusual spots that people just don't check there, and it will stay there forever.
Yeah, they have to make sure the pink wards, they just got to run in some bushes you wouldn't expect, which people have kind of been trained playing League of Legends for so long. Don't run into bushes that seem unnecessary, because that's just going to get you killed now and again. But sometimes you got to take that risk.
Now they're going to go in. Mega Inferno Bomb's not going to find his target. Kazmich is going to get singled out by Crumbs, but Alliance are turning this one around. Good minds being used from Skara to stop that attack in its tracks.
But Malphite is around the side. Who's he going to go for?
Unstoppable Force is available. He hasn't used it up yet. Skara's going to maybe get focused on Cutie Pie. They're going to get very close together. This could be a prime target, prime candidate. Instead, they're going to single out Skara and just beat him down once again. There's slaps coming in. Froggen with the barrel picks himself up a kill.
And Dignitas tried to engage that fight because they saw that Wicked was in the bottom lane. But throughout this entire Battle of the Atlantic series, Alliance has done an amazing job of disengaging and really picking their fights. They did it again right there. It meant the Dignitas didn't have a real chance to fight, and now Crumbs, he's in trouble as well.
Wicked just tracking down Crumbs like a scent dog there. He knew exactly where he was going. Oh, the Cocoon, no max range, didn't quite catch on. I did just see someone actually getting caught out as the Baron, obviously causing damage on them. Explosive Cask is definitely going to finish the deal. That's Baron picked up for Alliance.
That was Froggen saying mine as he threw the barrel at it. He knew Wicked would have had it concerned or covered completely, but he wanted to get the kill. He's now 5-2 on Gragas. With the Baron being picked up by Alliance, they have gained a larger stranglehold on the game. At least Dignitas has 2 turrets to the 6 of Alliance, but I think Alliance is in complete control.
It is 18-8 in kills, and of course, you say that gold lead is starting to grow rather exponentially. It's currently at 13,000 gold to Alliance, and they are continuing to drive home their advantage. Big critical shots now coming out from Tab, starting to clear those minions in second, switching across those rockets. There's waves at the bottom and waves at the middle, pushing in towards Dignitas base. The siege is on.
Yeah, they don't have quite the poke they had in game 1, but they still have Gragas and Elise. They'll have plenty if they decide to get a catch early. And Dignitas goes right away.
Kazmich gets dropped there. It's Crumbs that manages to pick up the kill. Culling coming out. Wicked trying to tank that one out. Still not managed to use that ultimate. Wicked's just holding on, holding that trigger. And honestly, I'm not too sure they're going to pull it because, well, Cruiser does get taken down just towards the end there, but that is a close engagement. A support for a top laner, though. You got to feel it's Alliance again on top.
Yeah, they got Tabs extremely low, and it looks like Crumbs wants to finish the job. They're not letting this inhibitor go down without a fight.
He's going to try and sneak around the side. It's Tabs he wants to get in, but that's the inhib going down, and the rest of Dignitas have had to back away and give up this inhibitor. Crumbs is still hanging around the side here. They may try and get some exit kills. It is a Baroned up Alliance, so he has to be really cautious about what target he goes for. That's going to be unstoppable force going in, and just like that, Cutie Pie is deleted from the map. Skara's going to get focused on. He gets dropped into double kill, and that could be game for Alliance.
Crumbs never made it into that fight because they were trying to turn it around, but Alliance struck first right there. Wicked turned it, Crumbs never made it in, and this is the game.
This is the game. It's going to be Europe striking first. It will be 1-0 as Alliance take down Dignitas in a clean sweep 2-0. Game 1 was a stomp. Game 2 was much closer. But honestly, it's Crumbs that's just getting beat. Oh, Froggen.
Well, that one he actually had to kill secure. I feel like he may have gotten away. At this point, they may try and get a fountain kill.
I think they're having fun right now.
They've been having fun this whole game.
They've been having fun this whole game. Teleport coming back in. Wicked, what has he been back to buy? It is going to be the Randian Zone, and they're just going to keep poking him on this turret. And honestly, they've got a really good fountain poke team.
Manor.
Dancing
Manor,
from Wicked. Dancing from Wicked, Froggen with big smiles in his face, not so much smiles from Dignitas as those barrels. Oh. Cutie Pie taken so low there. Those barrels are hurting.
I wonder what Dignitas is going to do about this. They can't get out of their base.
I think it's an interesting dance move that Cruiser's trying to pull, but Crumbs is going to try and come out. Zhonya's tries to bait them in there. Is it going to be enough? No, he's going to back off once again. That Static Shiv is doing damage.
The Baron regen is keeping them all healthy as well. We did call this game over, but it appears there's still many battles to be fought.
The super minions are going to finish it for us just off the side there. We see the Nexus, unstoppable force on the fountain. They go in, finish the game off with 2 kills for 1. And well, Alliance really coming out in style, honestly, at the end of that. The crowd clearly happy with a European victory, as well as Froggen and his new team. This Alliance team, it looks strong moving into season 2014 season.
Yeah, this game was a little bit longer than the first, but it was very dominating. Again, there were actually 11 kills onto Tabs, so that was a little bit of the protect the jinx. But across the board, you know, Dignitas played a little bit better than in game 1. They still look a little bit devastated, though.
And I have to say, Cutie Pie, while he said, you know, America's known for their great AD carries,
didn't show up that
0-6-4 versus a 11-1-3. It's a bit of a difference.
They completely got destroyed there. The ganks from the very start from Shook. He was definitely focusing down that lane and helping out Tabs, and for good reason. I'm a Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid, even though they may get along well personally, did not show up in-game for this series.
I was actually relatively impressed with Kiwi Kid's karma, though.
His karma was making some plays. He was basically the bright point of Dignitas for that match. No one else really performed that well.
So what do we make of these teams? This is the first really look we had before the Spring LCS begins. Both these teams already qualified, of course. Alliance, pretty much a new lineup coming into Europe. And of course, Dignitas with effectively 2 new players, because Kiwi Kid's switch in position makes him effectively new. And of course, Cruiser coming in that top.
Well, I think Alliance has definitely lived up to the hype to me so far. Shook as a jungler has made all of the right plays. The synergy they talked about, not even necessarily with Frog, but with the bottom lane. The bottom lane ganks he did were so spectacular. Wicked looks strong. He's still playing his same champions with a little bit of his own flavor. The Trinity Force on Malphite was a really good sign. I think that team is going to make a lot of noise in the European LCS, and they're definitely a strong contender for Worlds.
And the thing with Wicked, I feel that this patch has actually played a little bit into his favor.
Absolutely.
Tanky champions in that top lane is what he was renowned for.
He loves the tanky champions. I mean, Renekton and Malphite, that's completely fine for him. And if the rest of the team brings so much damage and so much roaming potential, he's free to do his own thing, and that's where he is most comfortable.
So what do we make of the 2014 patch so far? Obviously, there's going to be adjustments. There's going to be changes. This is not a done deal. You know, 3.15 has already been rolled out on towards the live servers. What do we take from what we've seen so far in the promo and the Battle Atlantic?
Well, I'm seeing a nice evolution of the trinkets, the way people have been running them, because obviously the team that was losing here, Dignitas, ended the game with 4 warding totems.
Yes.
But there were 3 sweepers and a blue one on Alliance as well, because they were Scrying Orb. Well, it's an orb. They changed it to the greater orb. And he actually upgraded it. Orb. He spent the 475 gold to upgrade it to a Farsight orb. But you really actually do want to switch out your trinkets in the mid game, and teams are really starting to adapt to that to kind of suit their needs. I think the rest of it, though, is kind of as planned, right? The junglers are getting a little bit more farm. The supports are having a bit more impact, as we saw from Kiwi Kid. 80 carries are definitely still strong. We've seen multiple 80 carries go off, 11-1, 10-0.
Despite what we're hearing from a lot of 80 carries.
Well, from Doublelift. Let's be honest. He's said a few things before.
He's not the only one. Freezer's definitely had a few things to say about this patch. He's not too happy about it.
It's because Hercubot keeps going bot lane and stealing his farm.
Stealing everything from him. But for me, what I'm seeing is a lot more kills. Definitely been a lot more entertaining matches. Thinking back to Meet Your Makers yesterday, the 4 aces in that game that Meet Your Makers had, and the ace for Copenhagen Wolves, all in the same game. A lot of action going on. Copenhagen Wolves sweeping lots of kills yesterday as well. This game, we had 35 kills in, 35 minutes? Fountain diving. Not really something you'd normally see, but they're having fun at the end there. And 11-2 in pretty much a 20-minute game last time.
Yeah, I would say that high kill games are indicative of a new season. We saw it in Season 3 as well, right after the patches hit, when teams are doing most of their adjusting. You just see more bloodbaths, because the way pro players and really good players approach the game is they always test their limits. And when they haven't been playing on a patch or an environment for an extremely long time, they're going to die a lot when they were expecting it to go well. And then they'll adapt and do better next time and always trend towards a slightly more conservative play style. But early on, yeah, it's been some bloodbaths.
And you just got to look at the jungle battle, obviously, that happened with Crumbs there. Crumbs definitely came out a lot more favorable once he played the Evelyn. You think of that duel they had where Shook got away with effectively 20 hit points, was it? I think it was towards the end?
Yeah. Well, we can't give Crumbs too much. He went 3 and 8 on the eve. He started the game actually 1 and 5.
3 and 8-6 as well for Shook as well in that last game.
3-4-11 for Shook. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got him switched around.
But
obviously the winning team jungler always looks better.
He's always going to have better stats.
I think Crumbs' Eve, if he would have been able to make an early game impact, would have been better. It was definitely better than Game 1, because Game 1 was a disaster. But I have to give both of these games to Shook.
So Alliance do manage to take victory. Now let's send it down, though, of course, to Shocked, who will be standing by with the winners of the first Battle of the Atlantic.
Yes, I'm standing here with Alliance. And first up, an applause for Alliance, I think, might be in place. Because standing here with one of the members who has remained in the lineup, Froggen, and it must be a great weight off your shoulders doing this good in the first international showdown.
Yeah, it's obviously really good, even though we were messing around a bit in the second game. Like, it feels great to win.
I'm sure it does, and of course, we heard you comment before, I really want to win, and I felt like with the old lineup we had, that wasn't possible at the highest level anymore. So what's your impression now of the positions you've changed going off of this first game?
I think first of all, they're all really, really mechanical good, and they have a good mindset about the game. If they can keep that up, we will see, but no, they're all really, really good.
Yeah, and maybe Shook, I'd ask you, of course, you've had some big stage experience with the Copenhagen Wolves, and now with Alliance. How did the games go for you? Because especially in that first game, you seem to be feeling very comfortable putting the pressure down. Give you the mic.
I missed a lot of cocoons, and that made me sad. And that's about it.
No, it's still a very good performance. How do you feel that the atmosphere in the team is? I saw you laughing a lot in that first game, especially when you got that first blood down.
Yeah, this team is just great fun playing with them, and you just always have fun, even when you're losing. It's the best team you can have.
Yeah, well, that seems very good. Of course, now you're winning, so you're going to be very happy. We'll see how that is when you're losing, maybe. But I want to ask Wicked, maybe, of course, a great performance by you both games. How was the experience versus Cruiser?
Well, I've been training a lot against Sorcerer, and I kind of got my ass kicked, so I've had a tough opponent to train against, and it was kind of easy because of that.
Oh, okay. But on a more personal level, what I also tried to ask you, want to ask you is, of course, competitive level, you want to win, but how was it for you having to say goodbye to 3 good friends, in essence?
Well, I feel like it wasn't that bad saying goodbye to them because we all had different goals, we all wanted different things, so no one got left by being unhappy. Everyone was happy with what happened, so I think it was all right.
Would you say that difference in goals might have been that you wanted to win more, or?
I think it's just different in goals. Like, for example, Snoopy always wanted to live in America. That's one of his life goals, so he wants to live over there.
All right. Also want to ask Kazimierz, of course, coming in here as the solo queue hero, but that's about all we know about you and Zillion. And then you draw a Zillion ban immediately. That must have been a good feeling.
Yeah, I think I'm only one who plays Zillion competitively. So I've tried to play it here, and I think it was okay.
How are the stress levels for you up on this big stage?
Can you repeat?
How are the stress levels for you up on this big stage?
I was kind of shaky the first game, but after we get some easy kills, the stress fell off me, and I was playing my game.
All right, a lot of easy I hear here, shots fired. Tabs, and what was it like for you in that lane versus PewDiePie, and just a very good debut for you as well in Alliance?
Yeah, I was very excited to play against PewDiePie because I always watch his streams, so I was like, wow, I get to play against my idol, you know, so.
It's a lot of mutual respect coming out there.
Yes.
Right, Fragan, I'd like to ask you something we've asked Expeke before as well. How do you think overall Europe versus NA is going to turn out in this battle of the Atlantic?
EU.
I might want to direct that at Tabs as well, as you come from the Lemon Dogs organization before. What do you think of this new roster? How do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I think all of us are just like really good at the game, and if we just train a lot, we have potential to be one of the best teams for sure.
Right, final question for Fragan. How much potential do you see in this Alliance lineup for you?
Well, hopefully everyone will see once we win LCS, but...
All right, one more time for Alliance, guys. Thank you very much, guys. Fantastic performance here. And we've got to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because the battles have just begun. SK Gaming and the Super Hot Crew throw down for a spot in the 2014 Spring Split right after this. Stick around.
Welcome back to the LCS studios in Cologne, Germany. Jet and I have lane swapped over to the analyst area where we are joined once again by XPK from Fnatic. So let's start things off. What do you think of that game? How do you think it went? Obviously, Alliance looking very strong, but they're going to be in the league against you guys. Are you a bit worried?
No, not really. No, they played really good. I still think Dignitas didn't play as good as they should have. So I'm not that scared. I want to face Alliance in a real tournament versus us first before I get scared.
Yeah, and I actually want to ask you a little bit about the Battle of the Atlantic game that is worth the most points, which is you guys against Cloud9. What are your thoughts on Cloud9 maybe coming into this new patch or with the new season? Because how different are they going to be from when you guys beat them at Worlds?
Well, I have no idea how long they have been practicing. I don't know what they are preparing for, but we are preparing a lot. I think we adapted pretty well to this new patch and the meta, how is it going. So I think we are ready for anything. I think the games are going to be close. If they do mistakes in picks and ban again, we might be able to take them. But I think they will prepare a lot in picks and bans, and it will be super close. But still, I think we will win 2-1.
2-1. Well, that's what it was at the World Finals, World Quarterfinals. I want to talk to you a little bit about the World Championships because I've not had too much of a chance to sit down. Obviously, I saw you at Cologne. But, how do you feel it went for you guys? Obviously, it didn't go so great against Royal Club, but there's a couple of games in that matchup in the semi-finals that could have gone your way.
Yeah, during Worlds, it was. I think we played really good. Like overall, we did super good. We scored really high, and it just there were so many games that, of course, you cannot play good every game. At some point, you had to have a bad game, and we had a few games that were not as we normally would play. But besides that, I think we played super good. We had a really high performance. Most of the games we were doing good. Even the ones we did bad, we still managed to not get a stomp or do decent. So I'm happy with how we played.
And how do you feel, obviously, now Reckless stepping into the team, obviously coming to it with all the hype that we saw with Copenhagen Wolves qualifying, yet he's been replaced there and as a new superstar formed. Do you feel he's obviously bringing a lot more than Pushy would have given you?
Well, Pusu was really good. The difference is maybe Reckless is better in the early laning phase. Pusu was great in teamfight. We didn't have any complaint with him in the teamfights or late game. He was doing good. Reckless is just like maybe a bit better in early game, which is really important when you play at the top level. You need to be like good at every stage in the game. So with practice and getting good synchro with Yellowstar, I think it can be even better.
I mean, speaking of this upcoming season, we're about to see who's going to join you guys in the European LCS. Do you have any predictions who's going to win this next one, SK or Super Hawk Crew?
It's hard to tell because I haven't seen much of Super Hawk Crew, but I will say SK, if they get their comfortable picks and they play how they normally do, I think they will win. Still, it's not like fully sure. I will give them 60-40%. It's not like for sure. And from what is the last team? I forgot.
Super Hot Crew.
No.
We want to go all the way tomorrow as well. You want to predict that?
I want to think about tomorrow again.
It's NIP versus KMT.
I think NIP. That one's easy. NIP, I think, is going to win. But yeah, no, today, definitely, I think SK will win. If they don't tilt, if they don't play bad, they're going to do probably just fine, like 3-1 or something like that. Probably like yesterday, but closer games.
Well,